Hi everyone, I'm Gracelyn Bennett, your Filipino lawyer at your service. Some of you might recognize me as the attorney of Filipina P. Yes, I am her, and I've decided to come up with my own channel focusing mainly in discussing legal matters that you might find relevant in living in the Philippines. As my premiere video, I'm going to talk about what most of you who are outside the country are interested to know. How can you enter the Philippines under the current situation? As you may be aware, the Philippines has temporarily stopped the issuance of tourist visa upon arrival due to the COVID-19 situation in the country. Unlike in normal circumstances, wherein foreign nationals can get an entry visa upon arrival for 30 days, this time, however, you need to process your tourist visa or the 9C visa in the Philippine Embassy where you will be coming from. Can any foreign national be allowed to secure a tourist or 9C visa? Well, unfortunately, not all foreign nationals can secure a tourist visa. Only the following individuals are allowed to enter the Philippines. First, foreign spouse and minor children of Filipinos. Second, children with special needs, regardless of age, of Filipinos. Third, foreign parent of minor Filipinos. Fourth, foreign parent of Filipino children with special needs, regardless of age. Fifth, accredited foreign government and international organization officials and their dependents. 6. Foreign airline crew members. And 7. Foreign seafarers with existing 9C visa. The country is currently limiting the people arriving in order to limit the spread of the virus and not to flood the very limited medical facilities of our country. Foreign spouses and their minor children from Filipino spouse and foreign parent of minor Filipinos are allowed since our country advocates for keeping the ties or bond of the families intact. The pandemic alone has caused a lot of problems to families, and reuniting these families together is something that our country would like to uphold. If you are a resident visa holder in the Philippines, do you need to secure a tourist visa? Well, being a resident visa holder is not an assurance that you can be allowed entry in the country. Not all current resident visa holders are allowed to enter the country. Foreign nationals who have SSRV or the Special Retirees Visa are also not allowed to enter the country with their SSRV visa alone. They must still meet the qualifications of those who are allowed to secure a tourist visa. It seems absurd, right? But there is a reason behind this limitation. Perhaps because when you are an SSRV holder, you are expected to be living in the Philippines. So once you leave the country, then you will be treated like any other foreign tourist. The privilege you have as SSRV holder can only be enjoyed within the country once you are already inside the country. How about foreign nationals with 13A or the quota resident visa? Can they enter the country? Definitely, yes. They are allowed entry in the Philippines. But to be sure of the requirements you need upon entry in the Philippines, it is wise that you contact the Philippine Embassy in the country where you are coming from. So what are the requirements you need to provide in securing for the 9A visa or tourist visa? Well, the requirements all depend on the country where you will be coming from. But the basic requirements would be the following. First, marriage certificate if you are a spouse of a Filipina, and photocopy of the passport of your Filipina spouse. Or, if you are a parent to a minor Filipino child, then the birth certificate of the said child. Second, a pre-booked accredited quarantine facility, usually required upon submission of visa application. And third, a pre-booked COVID testing provider. If you are able to secure a tourist visa or a 9A visa, are you assured entry in the Philippines? If you do not commit any act that would cause you to be undesirable alien, like when you show disrespect to the immigration officer, then you may be allowed entry as long as you are able to show them the requirements you submitted in securing your tourist visa, should they ask. It is very important that you bring with you your marriage certificate of your spouse or the birth certificate of your child. Without this, the immigration officer can deny you entry in the country. What if you are not one of the enumerated individuals who can secure a tourist visa? Is there a way to enter the country at this time? Well, if you have the means and has at least $75,000 upfront money to be used as investment in the country, you can apply for an investor's visa. But wait, if you think securing a tourist visa or an investor's visa alone is a headache, check out the respective quarantine protocols of city or town of your final destination. You might be surprised of the additional hassle you need to undergo. If you are allowed to enter the Philippines, there are still local protocols that you need to comply with per city, and they interpret the national policy only as a guide and not absolute on the city with peculiar circumstances. Their primordial interest is still fighting the COVID-19 virus. Let's say you are arriving in Manila, but your final destination is Dumaguete City or in Negros Oriental, a province in the Visayas area. You would need to be in Manila for some couple of days because first, you need to process for your acceptance in going to Dumaguete City. Every resident entering the city or province is enjoined to strictly comply with the following health protocols. First, medical clearance certificate issued in Manila or Cebu, your port of origin. Second, travel authority issued by the police. Third, negative RT-PCR test or commonly known as swab test result, which can only be valid for 72 hours after test result release date. Usually, test results are released after 3 days or more from the time you had your swab testing. Fourth, certificate of acceptance from the city of Dumaguete, which is very important, without which you can be sent back to your port of origin. To process for your certificate of acceptance, you need to coordinate with the city to allow the city tourism to do the following. First, to validate your barangay residency. Let it be noted that only those married to a Filipina and are still living together and those who will be living with his Filipino child are the only ones considered resident in a barangay. Second, the tourism will also arrange pickup at the port of arrival in the city. Third, prepare to accommodate you at a government-designated facilities such as an accredited hotel for your 14-day quarantine. There are some cities, however, and municipalities that allow home quarantine, but unfortunately for Negros Oriental, no home quarantine is allowed yet. And lastly, the city will have to prepare your certificate of acceptance. So once you have the acceptance to enter Dumaguete, that's the only time you can fly to Dumaguete and be ready to undergo a 14-day quarantine in a government-accredited facility upon arrival in the city. Just imagine all these procedures and documentations you need to provide for you to be allowed entry in your final destination. But again, If you really need to be with your loved ones, you can come to the Philippines. Just prepare to have a lot of patience and perseverance in dealing with things over here. Just remember, at the end of the day, love conquers all. Do you know that Filipinas are known for their resiliency? A Filipina may stumble and fall, but she always looks at the bright side of things and never gives up.
If you want to know the answers to the legal questions that you've been seeking for in the Philippines, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything from me. And if you learned something from this video and you want to hear more from me, please support my channel. If you have legal questions about Philippine laws, or if you want to come to my country and you want to know how, or if you're here already and you have legal concerns, I have legal consultants standing by to help you. I put the contact information down below so you can call or email and get some help. Until next time!